YouTube? My name is Ashlyn and welcome back to my channel. This is a channel that I have not been on in a long time. I'm very active on my social media through Instagram. My Instagram handle is right here at Country Fit. I post every single day, constantly on my story, and then in my feed as well. So if you want to know more about me or have questions on this video, please message me there or comment down below. I will be answering comments and everything like that. But I'm not going to promise that I'm going to do a lot more YouTube videos, but if you want to subscribe, go ahead just to see. Maybe I will. I just don't want to make any promises, but I will promise you that I'm very active on my Instagram. But a lot of people on my Instagram wanted me to make this video, so I'm going to talk about something that I have not talked about at all, and it is that I had a breast augmentation years ago. And a lot of people, when I said that on my story, they said they had no idea, looked natural, and they wanted to know more about my experience. And so it's something that I wasn't ashamed to talk about, but it was something that never got brought up. So if you weren't in my hometown, you would have never known that I would have it unless unless you have been researching breast augmentations and staring really hard and really trying to figure it out, which is interesting. But anyways, so I just want to talk about my experience, my thoughts, why I chose what I did, how I chose to get one, and everything like that. So if you're curious about my journey and curious kind of for yourself if getting a breast augmentation is right for you, then kind of just take a seat back, listen, and I will go over everything that I possibly can and think that I would want to know before getting a breast augmentation from somebody else. How long have I wanted a boob job? I wanted a boob job ever since I would say around high school. Everyone was starting to fill out naturally, and I was not. I was very naturally small up here. And I remember always just looking at my friends who were curvier and just think, gosh, can you just like give me some of yours? And they're like, okay, but give me some of that. Like, we'll just switch, and you know, that kind of talk. So I always kind of admired the curvature since I was younger. It wasn't like when I was older, just randomly one day I woke up and was like, I think I should get a boob job. So it had been a while since I wanted to get one. The age that I decided to get the breast augmentation was a month before my 24th birthday. And what made me take the plunge was I was bartending, and I would actually have to stuff myself, my bra, with cutlets or socks, and wear double bras. I worked at a country bar, and we were supposed to wear Daisy Dukes and crop tops, and I hated that I was just so flat, and I always wanted the curves. So my friend at the time, who was also a bartender, she recently just had her boobs done, and I was like, God, you know, I mean, I'm making bartender money now. I've always thought about it, always wanted it, and her research and her family history and everything, it was just like, that's what made me take the plunge. It's like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm ready. This is for me. It's not for anybody else. And I just want to be as confident and comfortable in my own skin, and I've always thought about this. So right before my 24th birthday, that is when I had my boob job. I am now about to turn 29 in June. Oh my gosh, I'm about to turn 29. How I found a doctor was actually through that friend who had the boob job. Her entire family had the breast augmentation. They had different experiences. I lived in Tucson, Arizona, so they had all of these different experiences through different doctors. They did their own research, and I trusted her entire family to tell me who was going to be the best and who wasn't. So of course I went into the doctor's office knowing that it might not be the fit for me, but I went to the doctor that she went to because I loved her boob job. I loved how she said her experience was and how honest, and it didn't seem pushy or that he was trying to make her fake or anything like that. So that's how I found my doctor. I'll go over the meeting, the very first meeting with the doctor. So you get a free consult. Normally, I don't know if everywhere is free, but mine was free. And what you'll do is you'll go into the room, and he'll take you into like an office area, and he'll talk to you about there's different sizes of boobs you can get. There's different shapes and textures of boobs you can get inserts. And then there's different actual material of what it is filled with that you can get. So he went through all like the teardrop shape, which is like small on top and goes larger, then the round, then saline, silicone, gummy bear, which is supposed to be, I think, like an in-between and a softer, I'm not really sure. And since I've had a breast augmentation, I know there is a lot more new stuff out there. So don't just take what I know. Definitely do your own research, because I know there's probably a lot more shapes, sizes, and textures and everything like that out there, because it's been years since I've had mine done. He also talked about in that room where to get it placed. Like, where do I want it to go? We have options. People have got it through the actual nipple, underneath the boob, the side of the boob, and some places even do through your belly button and go up and insert the insertion there. You'll probably have a little scar no matter what, wherever you decide to go. So my doctor talked to me about how the coloration of your nipple will be a good dictation if you're gonna get it or not. If you have very, very, very light pink, light, very clear nipples, lighter color nipples, you'll probably get away with going through the nipple if you want to, because that scar is light and it'll kind of blend and you won't notice it. But if you have darker skin around your nipples, that will be a very white line and very obvious whenever you're naked, and it'll show. I chose to go underneath the boob. I felt that was what my friend did. I felt like that was the most common on the research that I'd done with other girls, what they did, and I wasn't a candidate to go through the nipple. I did think about it, but I was like, we'll just go under. And I didn't really want to have it on the side because I like to wear tank tops, and in my head, I don't want anybody to see a scar on the side of my boob because side boob happens in normal clothes. So that is why I chose underneath, because I felt like you could hide it if the scar didn't ever go away. I chose to get saline over silicone, and that's because I have autoimmune disorders, and it's actually studied that whenever you put something in your body with autoimmune, obviously our body already wants to attack ourselves, so saline is the safest option for us because God forbid something happens. Saline is okay for our bodies, but silicone is really extremely foreign, and it can actually be worse for people with autoimmune. So I chose saline before I even went into my doctor's office. I knew that silicone, even though it was supposedly going to be more of a natural feel, a softer feel, I just knew that I was not going to put that in my body. So I already knew that going in, that's what I was going to have. And as far as like the shape goes, what I told the doctor that I want is I wanted to see some cleavage. I wanted to have that circle on the top. I wasn't a huge fan of the teardrop situation where your boob would be really low. It was my personal opinion. I have seen other girls since then have that, and I think their boobs look beautiful. And so maybe in the future, who knows if I'll ever change styles. But I really think that it's just your preference, and do a lot of research and research a lot of girls with different boobs and actually start looking at them and see what you like. Also, another reason I didn't want silicone, even if I didn't have an autoimmune, was that with silicone, since it's foreign, no matter if you have an autoimmune or not, you have to get MRIs like every 5 years or something like that to make sure that it's not slowly leaking out your body and killing you. Low-key, just not to scare anybody, but this is all the information I know. My father actually had a patient who died because of her silicone breast augmentation, because it was slowly leaking into her body and basically poisoning her, and she died, unfortunately. So I stayed the heck away from that. That's because of my own personal reasons. I know other women who have had and who have silicone in their bodies, and they're fine and they're healthy. You just have to be more on top of it and make sure that everything is good, because if saline leaks in your body, it's not as big of a deal. Now let's go from, I'm in the doctor's office and we go into a room where he's like, the next part of the free consultation is where you go into your room by yourself, you get undressed on the top, and they'll give you a sports bra, like a pullover sports bra, kind of like this, and then they'll come back in the room. So the only people that were in my room is my friend and the doctor, and he'll start handing you different sizes of implants. They have them filled, like this is 200 cc's. Cc's is just how much liquid or filling is in that insert. So then you'll put it here, he'll put it here, and you'll stand in the mirror and you'll look at yourself and be like, this is what I would look like if I had 200 cc's. All right, let's go up. Okay, this is what it looked like here. I think I got to like 400, and I was like, that looks pretty nice. And he's like, what you're gonna look for is on the side. So if you're looking at your complete torso, you do want a little bit of a flare out. You don't want your boob to be, not to push too much, but you don't want it to be flat right here. A natural curvature on the outside is also what you're looking for, to look like a natural boob. And so that's where I was at with like around the 400s, I wanna say, 350, 375 or 400, I can't remember which one. And so he was like, all right, we're gonna go up. I want you to see what you're gonna look like at 500. And I was like, I wanna look natural. And he goes, I'm doing this on purpose. I was like, okay. So I put in, and I was like, whoa. And he's like, see? He's like, that is what you would look like if you came in asking for a fake boob job. And these are the sizes we're gonna go down so that you look natural. And instantly I trusted my doctor because he made me see what it would be like, just in case, just to like look. He's like, see, this is what you would look like, and this is how blah, blah, blah. Also, during that kind of like switching out of the different sizes, I was saying like, my boobs, are they gonna come closer together? I'd love that natural cleavage. And he talked about how no matter what, we are all different humans. We are all different bodies. And where your natural boobs are set, if you naturally have wide boobs, your boobs are gonna be separated. Whereas some people naturally have closer boobs, when they put implants, they'll get closer, and you have to be careful with the sizing because you could have a uniboob where your boob gets stuck together. So I wanted a closer fit, but he's like, to get us to where you would want, where it wasn't a uniboob, but closer touching, you would have to go up into this crazy size. So he showed me what that would look like so that I knew that's not what I want. And I really appreciated that he went from low to too high so that I could see in between, and we can make sure what actually looked natural to my body. There's also multiple choices you can do. You can go underneath the muscle with the implant, you can go over the muscle, or you can do like a half and half, which I don't understand. But I chose to go underneath the muscle. And that's what my friend got, that's what a lot of people got. I felt like it would be more stable being protected by the muscle than above the muscle. Again, do your own research when you're getting a possible breast augmentation, but that is what I chose to do. So since my doctor knew in that room that I was gonna get underneath the muscle and I liked the 400, he was like, okay, we're gonna do 450 on this one and 475 on the other one, because you also have different sizes. Your boobs are sisters, they're not twins. So to try to get them to be more equal, you might have to go higher number on one side than the other to match them. And I remembered being like, that's higher than what we just put on. He goes, you have to remember, now you're putting these implants in over your body right now. We're going behind the muscle, which is gonna hide part of that implant. So you need to go a tiny bit bigger to even that out so that you're gonna look like how you look right now with it behind the muscle. And I was like, okay, I really trust this doctor. The way that he was talking and everything, I was like, this is amazing. I feel comfortable. I don't feel pressured. I don't feel like he's trying to make me look like a bimbo. He's being very honest. And another thing I loved was that everything was my decision and he was not forcing me to anything, except for, of course, forcing me to see what I'd look like with too big of an implant just in case, because he wanted me to get the whole picture. So that was my experience of my consult. He went over prices. He said, take as much time as you want. If you need to come back when you do another consult, if you have any questions at all, let me know. Take time to think about this. And it was just that instant, like, just that's the type of doctor you want to have, where he's going to be as straight honest as you can, be on the same page with you. If you go into a room and the doctor's like, well, you'd probably look better in a bikini if you went up a little bit, blah, blah, like, if he makes you feel at all comfortable, like he has any sort of agenda for how you should look, not how you want to look, please see other doctors. And also his experience, he had been doing this for years and years, and his boob jobs, like the what I saw in his recovery and everything like that, it seemed absolutely fantastic. So that is how I chose. I was very lucky to have my friend kind of already have the research done and then have that great of an experience. So my boob job cost $3,500. It was going to be $4,500 if I chose the silicone, but since I was doing saline, it was cheaper. So that was awesome. So I was already doing the cheaper one. So that's how much my boob job cost at the time. One thing I want to say about that whole experience is that I had a lot of girls after my first appointment say and ask me, because it actually became really popular for girls in Tucson to get boob jobs right around the same time. I think there was like 8 of us in total within a 4-month gap that got breast augmentation. Kind of insane. Which didn't have any effect on me. I didn't care, but it was just interesting. But a lot of the girls were asking me and my other friend about her experience of having it already done, my experience with the doctor, and this and that. And they were saying, what cc, what size did you get? What size do you get? Just like, I'm gonna throw out their fitness with macros. My macros aren't gonna be the same as yours. My size is gonna be the same as yours, because you have to actually go into the doctor's room and put in that, and you might have different sizing. Just because you see somebody else and you say, wow, that looks natural, or that looks good, or want around the same size or the same look, you can say that, but don't ever go into a doctor's office and say, I want 350 cc's because that girl over there had it. because she might not have had as much breast tissue that you naturally have. So doing that would make it look bigger, or vice versa. So don't ever get caught up on asking girls how much they got. I would just say, ask them about their experience. If you want to, that's cool, but don't then just assume that that's the size you're gonna get, because everybody is different. And also too, when you go into a consult, don't bring anybody with you, your mom, your boyfriend, anybody that is going to have some sort of say or sway. You cannot turn around to whoever you're in the room with and go, what do you think? If you're doing that, you're not doing it for you, you need to get out, and that is not a good decision. Don't ever let anybody else make this decision for you. This is your body. You need to like what you look like in the mirror, and that is it. So I was very grateful to have that friend in the back who stood quiet as F, and only if I had a question, that she's like, I'm here for comfort level because it's a male doctor and I just want to be here, but this is your decision. And even I think I remember saying like, well, I'm in between two, and she goes, it's your decision. That's who you should have in the room with you. Nobody persuading, nobody saying, are you sure, or anything like that, or go by yourself. But this has to be a sole decision, and nobody, absolutely nobody can have an effect. I think that, to be honest, when I go into my next appointment in, I don't know how many years from now, when you have to get your boob redone, which for me it's 10 to 12 years since when I got it done, I'm not gonna bring Ronnie to the appointment with me. I'm not gonna bring my mom to the appointment with me. I would probably go by myself. And then if I have questions or thoughts, I might sit on it and maybe on the second appointment, but I need to be 98% sure of what I like to make sure no one can persuade me and my body. This is a sole decision. This is a huge decision you have to make. Just make sure it's for you, and nobody should ever have a say on what size you are, what look you get, anything, including the doctor, your friends, your family. This is your body and your decision. So go in that knowing. And it's okay not to know when you go on your first one. That's why the doctor said you can come back and have another consult. We can do this again, because it's a big decision and you need to know what you like. And we're very indecisive creatures. So take pictures while you're there. With different ones on, sit on it, think on it, look at other people again, and do the whole process again if you need to, but do it on your own and make sure this is a sole decision for you. I can't say that enough. Day of surgery, I went in. I was really nervous because you're choosing to go under the knife for no negative reason other than a choice to get a breast augmentation. So there was a little bit of nerves. Went in, you get into a gown, and then you are awake as they have you lay down on the surgical table. So you see everything around you that is going to happen. And then they put the little thing, say good night, we'll see you when you wake up. And then you wake up. And it was very much in and out, not versus I've had procedures done in the hospital where they give you hours to kind of like get out of that, it's a bug, they get out of that like comatose feeling from the drugs. Nope, they wanted you out so they can get somebody else in, because that is their job and that is what they do. And so I remember feeling very nauseous. I threw up in the car on the way home, and then I was completely out. My friend took care of me. She gave me the pills when I was supposed to. Unfortunately, she halved it because her entire family, the reason she did, I know, is out of the kindness of her heart, got sick from having that kind of medication. I wish that she hadn't done that, because the medication would have prevented me from a lot of pain. So I was in a lot of pain because I didn't take the full dose that the doctor recommended. But you will need somebody there to take care of you, to help every couple hours when the dosage is supposed to get in, to wake you up, give you your medication. You also have to sleep sitting up. So propping 2 to 3 pillows up for, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 days, maybe a full week. I can't remember how many days, but you can't lay all the way down. Another thing, which I'm very grateful to have a friend go through this and tell me, is that you are going to hate your boobs when you first see them, okay? So not only are you like super just like you can't lay back, but your boobs are gonna be like up to your chin, okay? They're gonna be right here just like hello, and you're like, oh my god, what did I just do? These are crazy, they're huge, and you can't, I tried moving my arm out like this one time to grab something, and I wanted to cry because it felt like I ripped something. It was terrible. You just can't really move for a couple days. That's what's to expect. But when you actually are able to stand up and go to the mirror and unzip your sports bra that it's in to look at your boobs, they will look like giant Tyrannosaurus rectangle things. Terrifying. I'm just gonna be honest. They are not pretty. You don't want your boyfriend, your husband, your girlfriend, your lover, whoever to see because it is not sexy, okay? Of course they're gonna be able to see you, they're not gonna judge you, they love you, but I'm just being a little exaggerative. That's the kind of thing you need to understand. You are not gonna like your boobs. They're gonna take a while to slowly settle down because they're pushed up right now, so they have to slowly settle down and sink in. My doctor, of course, listen to your own specialist, your own doctor. My doctor had told me that I needed to start massaging my boobs very frequently, especially if I didn't want them to turn seriously hard and have a more softer, natural feel. So I would have to like go around, press on my boobs, massage them daily. It was kind of like that pain, good pain type of thing. I think I want to say that I didn't work out for the first month after. I was very cautious, and my doctor also told me because my boobs are underneath my muscle, so when, I don't know if you can tell, but when I move my arms out and back in, my boobs move out and back in because it's moving with that muscle. That I could if I really wanted to, but there's a chance that if I work out chest and try to build up that muscle, I can push on my implants and make them move around in places you don't want. So I don't work out chest, and I haven't worked out chest since before my breast augmentation. So it's been a long time. So that's also too why if you see on my YouTube videos or my Instagram, I don't post chest workouts. It's because of my breast augmentation, because I do not do chest workouts or a chest focused day. So recovery total period, the first couple months your boobs will look kind of weird. You can get away with like having them in a tank top and not looking too strange, but they will be high. I want to say the first 6 months they started looking better, but it was really a whole entire year until my boobs were finally like settled, and it was really, really nice. And I was like, oh, these look good. And I was really extremely happy with my boobs. I was happy before a year, but if I'm looking back on my progress on my recovery, I would say an entire year of my boobs actually settling to where they're gonna stay. Now, as far as scarring, so I did get underneath my boobs. I got the Band-Aid scar tape, and I lived in that every single day. I'd make sure that it was clean, remove, take it off again. Not directly the day after. I think you had to wait 2 or 3 weeks. Ask your doctor how long you have to wait before you can start putting the Band-Aids on. But I lived in those, and those saved my life from having a scar. And also, don't get in the sun, don't tan, like always have them covered, because sun and scars, it'll just basically more permanent your scar. So after a few years of my boob job, I actually also had microneedling done on my scarring, and my scarring is very, very tiny, minimal. You would have to know to look for it to see it. So that's how I got rid of my scars from my breast augmentation. I do not regret getting this done at all. This was actually one of my favorite decisions I ever made, and the sole decision I made for myself, and I'm very happy and pleased with my body. I love that the natural look of my boobs. I love that it fits my body. I love that when I told a lot of you guys that I had it done, a lot of people instant messaged me and was like, you do? That was just kind of a very big compliment, a compliment to my doctor. If you are in Tucson, unfortunately my doctor retired shortly after my procedure. I was one of his very last ones, because then he went off and did pro bono work in like Africa or something. Amazing dude. I'm very sad that I can't get my next boob job done by him. I will have to, again, do my own research, but in 10 to 12 years from when I was 24, so I'm about like almost halfway there, I will have to get them replaced and redone. The one thing I wish that I would have been more on top of and kind of like learned or got into was after my recovery, after a few months, if I would have just actually started stretching and really focus on like yoga. And with yoga, how she talks about like rolling our shoulders back and keeping our posture. The boobs, did I get any back pain? Like minimal in the beginning, but what really happened to me was my posture just got really bad, because I always was like this and being pulled on. So my back wasn't really hurting, because I feel like I did enough core work to help with my back pain. But it was now that I've gotten into yoga and I sit up better, I feel better. I do not sleep naked at all. I am mostly in sports bras throughout the day. I don't really like wired bras. I will wear them to go out, but I really don't like them. So I have gone to like different events without a bra, and that is a nice thing about boob jobs. But I will say you aren't supposed to live without a bra and nothing, because they can literally sag or get like moved around different places while you're sleeping and get pulled. So my favorite sports bras to sleep in are ones from Amazon. I will actually link it down below, and it's just the basic. You can find them anywhere, but the little, you put it on and then you zip it up. I love those because it keeps it nice and tight and hugged while I sleep, so I feel comfortable, and that is basically what I recommend for sleeping in. I don't recommend sleeping without a bra, but to each its own. And also too, I went from, before my boob job, I was a size B, almost C. I think I might have been an almost A. I think I was like a solid B, to now I'm a double D. And so maybe if you don't go to as large of a size, you might be able, it might be a completely different experience where you can just get away without sleeping with bras. But since I am a double D, I'm choosing to kind of always have it hugged in, and it just helps and it feels nice. But definitely do research on like stretches and work on your posture after. The last thing I'm gonna say about a boob job is, of course, making sure that this is your sole decision. But if you are somebody who is in your health journey right now, and one of your goals is, when I get to this weight, whether it's bigger or smaller, let's just say this is like your hurrah, I made it, I did it, I'm gonna get a boob job. What I'm gonna recommend is that whenever you make your goal weight, to stay there for at least 6 to 12 months and then get your boob job, because you need to make sure that you are maintaining at that weight, because when you do get a boob job, you will revert no matter who you are, because you won't be able to work out as much. It's going to take strain on your body, and you want to make sure that your new you, your new weight, is you and your lifestyle, so that it's easier to get back to, easier to maintain. Because what you don't want to happen is to get to where you love your body and you're like, I want a boob job, and literally that same month you get a boob job. Now you have to stop working out as much, you can't do as much, so you're either going to gain weight or lose weight, and it's going to blot, you're just like, it basically is just possibly going to ruin your entire reason of getting a boob job. So I just say, take your time. Don't take this decision like lightly, and make sure you're not doing it to be like anybody else. Make sure you're not doing it for anybody else, and make sure you're only doing it for you. Please let me know down below, or again on my Instagram, CountryFit, if you have any questions. I'm so active on my Instagram, it's insane. So I'll see you more over there, and when I randomly decide to do YouTube videos, subscribe, hit the bell, notification, like, comment, do all that if you want to know. And if this is our first time meeting, very nice to meet you, and I hope you have a fantastic day.